We should do Patreon and tell people that we're going to get a studio if we get enough. If we reach our goal.
To who? Who are we telling? Both of our listeners. Like, great.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Maybe one of them was like a rich daddy. I don't know.
That'd be great.
Call me.
Hello and welcome to Incomplete Geeks. It's
Question
a gay
mark?
geek podcast where
Is
we
it?
talk about
Wow.
geeky things. A lot of the time we know a lot, but sometimes our knowledge is
Incomplete.
That's John, I'm Nick, and it's been Fagathas all along.
No, that wasn't mine.
Let's talk about Agatha.
Let's talk about Agatha. Mine was something about either basic witches or stupid witches.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fagatha and a couple of basic witches. Nice.
Oh my god, it's so fucking hot. It's so...
You need to chill out. What's going on? This is ridiculous. It's like you're in a southern bonnet. Whatever.
Well, I ran home just like I record with you.
Did you run? Were you running?
No, God, no.
Were you
Absolutely
just
not.
walking? Yeah, there we go.
I was walking speedily with heavy things, uphill both ways.
So let's talk about Agatha. It's been Agatha all along.
It has been. It's on. We got the Marvel TV show is back.
When was the last TV show? What was the last TV show?
Echo. It was Echo.
Shut up. That feels ages ago.
That was January, wasn't it? It was.
Was it Echo or Loki?
Loki season 2 was like November last year. Was it November last year?
Christ, what have I been doing with life? I honestly don't know.
We've had I don't know.
Not a lot. I haven't done them. Oh, yeah, that's true.
X-Men, yes, that's the last. Okay, that's the last TV show.
That's
the last MCU.
Sort of. Interesting.
Yeah, very generally. Like at this time of recording, we've had 2 episodes. The first 2 that came out on the same day, and we're going to talk about it. So obviously, spoilers for the first 2 episodes, or you just watch it. I think you should just. I think you can just watch it.
I think you've already watched it, right? Like if you clicked on Agatha All Along, you wouldn't click on it if you're like, oh, I haven't seen it, but they probably won't spoil it. Like, of course they.
I love those 2 guys. I love when they chit chat about random stuff.
I just want to listen to them and listen to them spoiler stuff.
Indeed.
But we're gonna. But we don't know a huge amount at this point. It's just setting up the show.
Yeah.
What was your initial reaction?
Well, I think we should do a quick Geek of the Week before we get into that.
Oh, fantastic.
Previously on X-Men.
Geekery of the Weekery.
Something else, also TV related.
Uh-huh.
So I'm pretty sure we've talked about it briefly on our show. We've talked about it briefly on our show, but
is this a show?
I don't know. Is it?
Is it? Are we
how
a
you watch
show?
It. Anyway. I'm still getting used to having these earphones because I can't. It's so much different than having the wired ones.
That's really interesting.
I know. All of our listeners was like, "Oh, Jonathan, you're so you're so different now." Umbrella Academy has done its final season, season 4, which is only 6 episodes, and I watched them all, and I'm not going to get that time back, unfortunately.
Yeah, the impression I got is that
I think, it's based on a comic. It's had its time. I think the whole concept of this dysfunctional family with superpowers is they kind of lost the plot a little bit. I mean, the most interesting parts of these.
Long. Like this has been going for years with so many like big breaks, and I mean, if it was writer's strike and stuff like that, you can't control that. But
yeah,
I feel this has been going for so long, and it's only done 4 seasons.
4.
Like, get into it, God. Friends
know.
did 30 years ago. Like, come on, let's power through. Jesus,
yes,
it took too long.
Did you say Friends did?
Friends was 30 years ago. Was it today or whatever?
30 goes to today. Yeah. It's on my quiz. So anybody who's listening, the quiz would have been. No. It's literally like on the one of the first questions. Side note: one of the first questions I do in my quiz is like, on this day, X number of years ago, blah 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 happened. And
like
it was
an
the
Alexa
Friends premiere.
Yeah, it was the Friends premiere. Nice.
Alexa prompt.
But yes, Umbrella Academy.
Anyway.
Oh, well.
So I like the concept of having like a different world-ending thing every season. Like that's kind of the overarching theme, you know. But because we only had 6 episodes to do this last season, I feel like I don't know. I don't feel like it was rushed. I just felt like they were doing too much and they couldn't have enough time to invest in any of these bigger plot points.
Was it only 6 episodes for the whole season, or was this like part 2 of a season?
This is its own season.
That's
you've got yeah, it is crap. I mean, the thing is, it's an interesting concept but they don't give it time to flesh it out. There's interesting things that I feel like I should be invested in, certain characters that I should be invested in that I'm just not, because I don't have time to do it. You've got Megan Mullally and Nick Offerman as this weird Western, like Southern, some American couple, and they're trying to like they're set up to be the antagonists. And you've got there's other things. The most interesting thing about it was actually the family stuff, because at the end of the last season, did you watch season 3?
No, I think I only did 2.
Yeah.
Which
so
I liked one.
At the end, basically at the end of the last season, they were all unpowered. They were all depowered.
Oh.
So then some of the family stuff comes back in, and it's only basically Klaus and Allison. That's Allison, right?
Sure, sounds about right.
God, don't shoot me if I get it wrong.
We're not complete geeks.
Yeah, anyway. Like that's interesting because like basically he's become this sort of, bubble wrap, don't touch anything, don't break the law, don't cross the street, watching after Claire, the daughter. And then obviously at some point they have to get their powers back, otherwise there's no show. And then it kind of just undoes everything.
Huh.
So at the end, do you want to hear how it ends so you don't have to watch it?
Yeah. Spoil it.
Spoil it. Basically, 5 discovers this subway system where he can go to other timelines. Ends up finding a restaurant where it's just completely staffed and by him, like versions of him, staffed and run, and all the customers are over different versions of him. One of them is like, "Oh, hey, you made it finally," and he's like, "What is this place?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're the ones who gave up trying." Basically, which is like the world ends no matter what happens. And he realizes, it's the world ends all the time because of us, because we exist. And so they have to sort of, the big bad becomes this other sort of like an antimatter to their powers set kind of thing. And so they they try to stop it. Then they realize, let's just let it win and, take us over and take us out of existence. We never have existed. And the final scene is like an idyllic universe of people who I think they might be cameos or something. I couldn't tell. Just going through this world, and the end, they just never existed. Which I think is just like kind of, it's just a letdown a bit. I feel like
that sounds like they thought they were doing something cool with that. It also feels like a cop out. Like you didn't have a story, you didn't have an ending planned. So at the end, you're like, and none of it was real, and now they're gone forever. That's not a satisfying one. You want something satisfying.
There's a little bit with like, if we take ourselves out of existence, what happens to our families, kind of thing. But it's implied that they existed in a different universe, maybe not the main one.
I'm really sick of multiverse crap. I'm
just like, okay, fine.
Sick of multiverse crap.
So that's a good segue to MCU now. So that's that.
But speaking of multiverse crap,
if you skipped our Geekery of the Weekery, welcome back.
Welcome back.
We're done talking about that.
Yes.
So, question for you.
Yes.
They're kind of calling this the multiverse saga because they realized that the phases 1, 2, 3 was the Infinity Saga, and that kind of sells. That's very marketable. Is this the multiverse saga? And how is it going?
I mean, they definitely planned that, and I think they thought it would be interesting, but all it's done is just take away any kind of urgency. No, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like. Stakes. Like it just doesn't mean anything. And they, it was difficult to turn something that's really convoluted of 20 films to make it more digestible by new people. And it's just kind of made it worse.
Yeah.
So I think they thought they were doing something, and I think it was a bad idea. What's interesting is if it was all this and the planned finale was Secret Wars all along, That's
Secret Wars all along.
That's either prophetic or they like followed their own mistakes, because the reason Secret Wars happened in the recent one in the comics was because they had so many alternate timelines that they're like, this is so fucking stupid. We need to kill everyone off apart from Miles Morales, bring him over, and then get rid of everything. So that's what Secret Wars kind of served to do. I don't know if it's still doing that.
Okay.
But if that was the idea, like they made the ending and then made the problem being the storytelling rather than a threat. It's like, oh, the films and TV shows suck ass, and then it's going to be fixed by this film. It's like, well, that's the... But anyway, Agatha has little or nothing to do with the MCU, and I think that's one of its biggest selling points.
Right?
Yeah,
I was going to build off what you said, and then you
okay,
steamrolled yourself. It was just that, like, I think I agree with what you said, where they tried to bring in all this other stuff but didn't know what to do with it. Whereas when you build a universe like the Infinity Saga, you kind of know where the end goal is, what it's going to be with this sort of... I mean, I don't think they knew that at first, but they were able to sort of mesh it together in a good way. But because people now think that, if I want to jump into this, especially young people, if they haven't seen any of the older ones, they're like, where do I start? I feel like I have to see everything else. So I think the first step was, after realizing that they had too much going on, that people felt like they had to have seen everything else, was they made Echo a Spotlight series and said, okay, that's just a standalone thing. You can watch it if you want to. It's great. We're just trying something new. And they kind of did that with What If as well, which are separate stories, which you get more from it if you know more about the characters and their histories, but you don't need it. And so I think what they're doing with Agatha here is because obviously I think this is the first TV show after that kind of the big sort of hectic a TV show every 3 months kind of thing. This is the first one after they took a step back and like, right, let's figure out what we're doing with this story, with these characters, with this universe. And so far, I think you're right. It doesn't have very much. You don't have to. I mean, you have to have seen WandaVision.
But that's it. It feels like a spin-off sequel to WandaVision, and that's it. Yeah. And I love that. It's like, that's great, because that's how it works in comics. It's like, you don't have to have read every Marvel comic. Oh, but I did read these 6 issues of X-Men one time. It's like, fine, you can carry on from here. Kind of similar vibes.
Aside from the fact that Wanda isn't in it yet, they could have called this WandaVision series 2.
No.
Because...
Well, there's no Wanda and no Vision, so I feel like that would have been poor.
I know, but it's
marketing on their behalf. But yes, I know what you mean.
That would be a clear. It's that clear of a sequel. Are you doing laundry or something?
My housemate is. Whatever. We have background sounds. We live in the world. There's sirens. There's TVs in your next room. There's laundry going in my next room.
Yeah, no. It's fine. It's like we're Joe Schmoes doing a podcast.
Yeah, we don't have our own studio yet.
Can you tell we're in the studio yet?
This is us in our bedrooms.
I think also to a certain extent, you need to see WandaVision to understand the first episode. But I wonder if starting in the second one, you don't even have to have seen WandaVision.
What did you think of the first episode? Because you're right. It was, the first episode was definitely remember that fun, cool thing we did in WandaVision? It's like, what if we carried it going? And I really liked it, but I also liked that the whole show. As far as I'm aware, we don't know yet because I've seen some clips that I don't know what's going on. Okay. Isn't just more TV shows, but I think they did it really well, and I really liked the fact that it was not that for everyone. It's just that for Agatha. So we don't know. Yeah. Who when she went to the library to speak to Anya, but she wasn't. Mm-hmm. What was she actually doing? And that could be something if they want to kind of twist later on, that sort of thing, or things like that. I really enjoyed. But it doesn't matter. It was a brilliant kind of spin on Mare of Easttown. She looked great doing it. Looked super pretty. They had the Swedish references to all the other shows. I think it was great. Yeah. I think it was a nice.
We thought it was The Killing at first. But then
and also because it had the Scandinavian name, and I
know there was a specific episode of Mare of Easttown that apparently fits very well. But yeah, but like when she's when
Yes.
she's in talking to Herb the neighbor, like was she just going up to him gardening outside and they're just having a chit chat? Was he playing along? You know, like all these questions which ultimately don't matter, but serve to get you invested, which I think is great.
I think it was good.
I think the reason it works so well is because you're paying homage to that whole series. You're not saying, all right, that's done, moving on. We're saying this is how it connects. It was a fun thing. We're doing it again. This is how it's the same but different, because obviously she claws her way out of it. So you're setting it up to be similar to that, but also creating new characters on top of it. I think it works really well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I hadn't thought about the fact that there's a lot of disdain in the nerd sphere for the MCU, what they've done for like the past year or so.
What do you mean?
Of us, Ant-Man, people didn't like the Marvels, all this other crap. Like people aren't as enthusiastic about Marvel as they used to be.
Yeah, I get that.
Kind of like the last time that everyone was on board. I mean, you can fight me about Guardians, but everyone loved WandaVision. It was the first time they've ever done this. It was weekly, it was cliffhangers, and it took all of us, we're like, what the fuck's happening? And it was great. Yep. So it ties itself more to that. Remember that beloved show that we did during the pandemic and, you know, that sort of stuff. And it was really wonderful storytelling, really good writing. And the ending was a bit fumbled, but that's COVID's fault, not writing's fault, that sort of stuff.
Of WandaVision?
So, yeah, because they had to stop filming because COVID hit. And then they filmed the last episode, like when they could kind of do some filming. It was supposed to be 2.
Right. 2 episodes. It was supposed to be 2 episodes.
There was supposed to be 2 more, but they only could do 1, as I understand it. So like it's nice tying it to that, to a platform that worked. Like it was like, rather than you know the TV shows where it's just a movie cut up into 6-hour pieces. WandaVision was written and created to be a TV show. It's nice that it's like, we can do good TV. Remember this? Let's do more of this. So that's a nice point.
It's a callback, but it's not nostalgia callback. It's like
it was 3 years ago, whatever it was. So it's not too much to it.
There's a lot of, if you want to go a bit deeper as well into that sort of trap that she was left in, Agatha, there's questions about, obviously, that the character at the beginning, the dead woman, is implied to be Wanda.
Yeah.
How does Agatha know she's dead? How does Agatha know that?
How does anyone know that she's dead? Yeah.
How's that? Yeah, true. How does she know? Because there's that one clue, like where the dirt in her fingernails, like from an Eastern European bacteria or whatever. Like, how does she know that? How does she know about?
But also, the other witches know. Aubrey Plaza told her. So I feel like the witch telegram would get around that. The most powerful witch in all the multiverse died and destroyed the Darkhold. The point is, no one has the Darkhold anymore, and it doesn't exist, so she can't get her power that way.
Okay, interesting.
So I guess that's how she would know. I feel like there's like a group chat or something.
A witch's group chat.
Yeah, I feel like people need to know. Yeah,
send a raven.
They'll know exactly
on the witches subreddit. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Okay, that answers my question then. Who is Aubrey Plaza? Because I think she's called Rio. People are saying she's called Rio, but no.
No, I know that some of the characters are comic book characters. I don't think it matters. I know for sure the Salem 7, so the villains that the horror,
like the dark shadowy.
They are they are references to the comics, and in the comics.
Hang on, they are the equivalent of the wraiths in Lord of the Rings. They are like, what's the name?
Or like the shitty Harry Potter people. They kind of look like that too, as well, don't they?
Dementors, yeah. Hang on, let me get this word. The wraiths, yes, the Nazgul.
The Nazgul.
I found it without looking it up. Got it. One step closer to being a complete geek. Thank you very much.
Inching your way there.
But yes,
they're in the comics. The Salem 7 are a group of characters. But I also don't think it matters. They're not going to stick to that storyline. They don't have to. Yeah. I don't care about that. It's a story from the 70s. No one gives a shit, but it's a nice little reference. So if the witch characters are from the comic books, I sure as shit don't know who they are. I can't imagine most of the people watching, and I don't think that's necessary. It's a TV show written. I mean, Agatha is supposed to be this geriatric, wrinkled, old grey-haired woman, and
she's not an antagonist really in the comics either, is she?
No, she's a good guy. She raised Franklin Richards and then Wanda's twins. She was a magic nanny. She trained Wanda in magic, so she's a good guy. A little bit like she'll do what she has to. Like she's the one when Wanda's kids were disappeared and killed, she erased the memory from Wanda so that she didn't break the universe. Right. So she's a little bit like, I'll do what I have to, but she's a good guy. So, but she also doesn't look like Catherine Hahn. They've now had to make her look like Catherine Hahn in the comics. They've had to make her young and sexy.
They made her younger,
which is fine. She's a cool character. It's different. So my point is, it's like, it's nice that if they have references to the comics, that's nice. And, but as long as they're writing good TV, that's more important. And
that's all. I mean, I think that. I mean, there's a line. I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think of these characters?
I think there's a line between like having to follow what's in the comics, and then also making your own fucking show because you're being inspired by the comics. You know, there's a difference between like the Salem 7 is okay because they're not really that big of a deal, but also we're gonna like to compare it to a comic book adaptation that wasn't well received. For example, The Mandarin from Iron Man 3. We're just gonna say, oh no, he's not real. It's just an actor. Like people hated that.
It's fine
where's the line?
It's fine to change specifics, details, because it's a different medium. It's a different visual medium. So like they don't always, you can't translate pictures to TV and film. Yeah. Always. Powers, that sort of stuff. And also it's 85 years of Marvel that you have to do in like 40 minutes. So no, we don't have to tell the story of like, oh, she did this and then it was retconned at this and then it was this and it was that. Like sometimes you change the details. My line is where you change the fundamental character of it. Like why use that person? So like, you know, making Storm American or whatever. It's like, a fundamental part of her character is that she was an African goddess that was pulled into this, you know, the stuff like that. Like, it's easier. Let's just make her Halle Berry from New York. It's like, then don't use her. Do not use Storm.
Was there a backlash about that?
No, well, kind of. Like, she had an African accent in the first film and then kind of forgot it, but...
Oh, right.
We got to X-Men 3 pretty quickly, and that was so fucking awful. It's like,
let's not go on about accents, because you're Rogue as well, yeah.
You fundamentally changed her character. Just don't use her. Why wasn't that Kitty? Why wasn't that Kitty Pryde? That is Kitty Pryde with...
Sure.
Anna Paquin would have made a good Kitty Pryde. I loved Ellen Page's Kitty Pryde. I think she did a really good job. Yeah. But that wasn't Rogue. It was pointless. You can use a different character. So anyway, that's my line. I don't know if everyone agrees with him.
That makes sense. But I guess the question is then how is that different? Not different, but like how is that compared to Agatha? Because people don't know Agatha very much, especially not from the comics, and especially because if she's so different in this TV show universe, then they kind of have a lease to do whatever they want with her. The fact is that when people were watching WandaVision, the fact that she was called Agnes, it was all just speculation. Like, oh, is she meant to be Agatha, or is she meant to be like a new character that's based on Agatha? And then it turned out it was Agatha all along. And then, but by that point, people were like, oh, well, okay, well, she's already different enough. Then we'll just go with whatever it is because it was done so well. And now we have a new show, and we're going to continue with this character. Yeah, and see what she does.
It is a good point. I've kind of contradicted myself because I do love Catherine Hahn, and I do love this character. I think it works really well. I think that's probably one of the bits that disappointed me of the end of WandaVision was I was expecting there to be a reason why Agatha was the bad guy. Like she was doing this, but maybe she was doing this like, because you're going to kill us all, you know, that sort of stuff. So like, I'm going to kill you and your kids. That's like what I was waiting for. And it kind of just finished that she was like, I want your powers. I'm like, yeah, that's not the right character. But maybe we'll flesh her out with this, and maybe we'll get a second chance at that. Maybe.
We'll see. The thing is, like, watching this show, like I don't think we mentioned it, but I did like the first. I did like.
Oh, I liked it. Yes, sorry. 1, 2, 3. I enjoyed.
I loved it.
I did enjoy I did enjoy both. Enjoyed both episodes.
I'm glad we counted 1, 2, 3 for that.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, go!
1, 2, 3. And I actually don't know what's going to happen next because I'm avoiding all speculation.
I know.
Thingies.
I don't want someone on the internet to tell me.
Yeah. And to be fair, like I did actually go watch like a breakdown to see things that I might have missed because I was like, hang on, who was the character's name? Or like, what's the combination? Or what was that a tarot card that she said? You know, stuff like that. Like I connected, and nobody that I saw told me what Aubrey Plaza said as she leaves. It's like Tedejo or Tevejo or something like that. Like I'm assuming that's Spanish.
Yes.
What is that? No one just know.
I thought it was a spell. Thought it was magic.
Tedejo, you know.
I just thought
or Tevejo. I don't know what today. Apparently, Tedejo means I'm watching TV in Spanish, but
okay.
I don't think that's what she said then. So,
somebody
write in, please. So we're, an appeal to our listeners, all 7 of you.
Yeah.
Like, tell us what she was saying, and she says it twice. Also, the other thing that I don't know why nobody mentioned watching this breakdown of first 2 episodes, which I don't know if it kind of made me cold about all these breakdowns because they're just copying off each other.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they are getting him on. They're getting him in advance, so they can have time to make these videos, whatever. But the 5th person in their coven is just a black heart, right? And I was like, well, obviously that's Aubrey Plaza then because she says
my heart is black.
She literally says my heart is black. But then they're like, oh no, the 5th person is Mrs. Hart. Which makes no sense because her fake name was Hart. Like, no.
It's just because she doesn't want to invite Rios with her.
Yes.
Well, they even say, he's like, well, you need a green witch. Like, Aubrey Plaza is a green witch. So she will be there.
Does she say that she's a green witch?
No, but we've seen the stills. So
okay.
We've seen the promo photos and she was...
She's basically like Bloodraven with all her twigs around her and stuff.
I don't know.
Is that what
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
From Game of Thrones, Bloodraven, the guy in the tree.
I don't know.
What's wrong? You saw the TV show.
I don't know. It was like 20 years ago. People didn't like the assembling, like building a team. People say they're like, oh, it was a bit boring. I like that part. I always enjoy when they're like getting a team together. I find
it wasn't as
fun.
exciting as the first episode, but I thought it was necessary and I thought it was fine.
I liked it. It was nice, mainly because I'm obsessed with Patti LuPone, as every good gay should be.
Oh, she was great. Like
I love her, and I'm so excited to see. Hopefully, she just gets to be this fun Patti LuPone character.
I think she's fantastic. I have a confession. I couldn't before watching this show and all this sort of hype around Patti LuPone. Couldn't tell you what else she's been in. I don't think I've ever seen her or anything. I
saw her when I was a kid in the 80s. She was in a TV show called Life Goes On.
Okay. American show or British?
An American show, yeah. And we got it in Bahrain. And it was groundbreaking because one of the characters, her son, had Down syndrome and was played by a Down syndrome actor, Corky.
What was the TV show called?
Life Goes On. Do you remember Corky?
I remember Corky.
Yeah, so that's the show he was from. Yeah, and Patti LuPone played his mum, and that's where I originally knew her from. I know she did guest bits in Frasier, like one episode. She was fucking hilarious. She was on. I saw her on Will and Grace, where she was Patti LuPone and singing and that sort of stuff. And I've just seen like clips of her, and I'm like, she's such a badass. It's fun.
It's kind of like I think her background is primarily Broadway and West End.
She's a Tony-winning actor. Yeah, that's the point.
I think she was. Did she win a Tony for basically playing Evita? She was Evita. That was the big thing because the controversy was her saying Madonna was shit when Madonna did it, and right. I can't say. I have not seen either of them, so no comment. But your opinion is valid.
But she's done a lot.
But in this show, I thought she was great because as the divination witch, she's doing that. Oh, I have a random moment of craziness.
Love it.
When I'm back in the room, and it's not played for laughs. Like it's not meant to be like I'm so crazy, ha ha ha. No, seriously, like she just has a brief moment of and then she's back in the room. Like
it's interesting.
You can tell that's good acting.
It's not over the top kind of stuff. It's interesting because they didn't make her a bitch witch, which I feel would have been a bitch witch, which I would have felt.
A bitch witch.
A bitch witch, which I would have felt is Like, if you're going to get Patti LuPone, it's like, let's make her a giant bitch
A diva. Yeah.
But then not. They're keeping her as... She'll still say her mind. I don't know if that's a good thing or... Because otherwise she might... I feel she would take over. And that's kind of Catherine Hahn's role to play, isn't it? The bitch witch is is Agatha.
Yeah.
So
and I feel like the fact that
fighting for that would be... And Aubrey as well, to be fair.
That's true. Yeah. She's going to... I think because she's currently set up to be the antagonist. Aubrey.
I'm excited. I don't know anything about what it's going to be.
Yeah. Like,
so
I don't know anything
I'm
about
just keen to watch these fabulous women actors just doing cool shit with magic. Yes, powers. Powers are everywhere. None of this street level flying on shitty wings crap.
Street level bouncing off walls and stuff. And shooting arrows. What's the Asian lady doing? Does she know she's a witch? It's the one who's like the one who's the rock star's daughter.
What about her?
Blood Witch. They call it the Blood Witch.
Yeah.
What is she doing? Does she know what she's getting into? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, she's born into the witchness. She probably knows about it. In the comics, it's not called the Witch's Road. It's called the Winding Way. If it's the same thing, which is fine. Yeah. I think Witch's Road makes it more palatable.
Let's talk about Witch's Road.
Huh?
Let's talk about the Witch's Road.
Well, we don't know anything about it. Is that a song? I don't know what's going on.
It's the song.
Oh.
It's the song they sing. And also, one thing I didn't catch, the fake intro to the first episode is just it reminded me of True Blood, how it's like that dirty southern down. And he's also saying, down the road.
Well, it's the same, it's the Lopez's, isn't it? Who did WandaVision and Frozen. The songwriters who wrote for the music for Frozen, and they did WandaVision as well. And obviously the theme of WandaVision was the same, but each episode was different because it evolved through the decades. So I think they've done the same thing for this with that song.
Yeah, great. I don't know. I believe you.
I'm telling you.
Oh, okay.
That's what. So you'll hear different versions of this song in different time periods or film franchise or that sort of stuff. So I think that is what it will do.
And I think that the episode titles are all lyrics from the song as well.
Oh, sick! Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Fun.
Cool. What do you feel? What do you feel about Joe Locke, the teen?
Well, here we go. I was going to say, is he going to be a twist?
Well, he's ever since the original stills were released about him filming, people is Billy Kaplan.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's Billy Kaplan.
Of course he is.
But now because they're not able to, for whatever reason, say it in the show, people are like, oh no, he's Mephisto. Or he's, I don't know.
He's absolutely going to be Mephisto. I love it. Great.
Do you think he's actually going to be Mephisto? Because Mephisto was controlling the essence of Billy Kaplan or whatever.
Well, that was the whole point of Billy and
Tommy.
They were bits of Mephisto's soul. So he was the one who sucked them back in and killed them in the comics. So he could be. I don't think he will be. I think the twist is going to be oh my God, it's Wanda's son and he's trying to bring her back. And we're looking for another level. It's it's just that. That's enough. Yeah, I think that's fine. And you can't...
And all the speculation that... Yeah.
And the spell could be a Wanda thing or something. It's don't let Agatha know who you are because she'll try and steal your power or something like that.
Good point. I kind of feel like it's set up to be leftover, vestiges of the spell.
Yeah, bits and pieces. She was trying to find something like that. Let's not... He's going to be Wiccan. They need to have Wiccan in the MCU anyway. He looks perfect. He's a queer actor playing a queer role. It's fantastic. So, no, it's not going to be Mephisto. Although that would be fucking hilarious and I would love it. But no, he's going to be
it would be
Billy. He's going to be Wiccan.
Do you think they're just trying to throw us off they're trying to throw us off the scent?
I'm not here for that again.
Oh no, it's too obvious. It's too obvious it's Billy. Okay, let's
and it can't be that. It's no, it's
let's
Billy.
Put out a rumor that it's
it can't just be Agatha as the bad guy. There's got to be Mephisto. It's no, it's just it's just Agatha. It's no one who knows who Agatha is. And Wanda is not going to come back at the end. Elizabeth is not in this show.
I don't think she will either.
She is not going to be there. We need to stop expecting that and don't be disappointed when she isn't revealed at the end. That's my personal journey I have to go on.
I'm with you. I agree. I'm not going to expect her.
Nope.
If there's a small chance that she does pop up, then I'll be like, whoa, okay. But
no,
until that happens, I'm like...
The most that could happen is I think they could set up some lore or situations where if Elizabeth did want to come back, it's less of a jump, less of a jarring jump, but I don't think there's going to be any sort of definitive thing.
Agree.
That's as close as they'll get. But we don't need that. Let's find out what happens to everyone at the end when they meet Glories and Glory at the end or whatever.
What?
Because that's in the song, isn't it? Whatever. And at the end is supposed to be the goddess of all magic, which I'm like, oh, they're going to call her Glory? That'd be cute. And then it's Glory from Buffy. It's like, bitches.
I thought you were making a Buffy reference. Yeah.
Well, it could be. And I would love that. Great TV reference. That would be wonderful.
Because there were witches in that as well.
Sure were. How many episodes is it? Does anyone know?
Yes. They just said it's going to be... Hang on. Let's do math. 9. So...
Okay.
I think there was like an Instagram post from Marvel about this. So they have the 2 episodes this week, and then 1 episode a week until Halloween, and then the 2 episode finale on the same day. So 2 plus 5 in the middle equals 9, which was exactly what WandaVision was. 9.
Yeah, WandaVision should have been 10, but yeah.
Right. I can't tell if the way that Joe Locke is playing Teen, and this is not a dig on the actor, I can't tell if he's meant
to be a bad American accent.
I didn't catch anything about the accent. I wasn't really listening, but is he not? He's American. Is he not American?
He's English.
Well,
remember
it passed for me.
Heartbreakers, Heartstoppers, Heartfloppers,
whatever. Yeah. Let's not start that again.
That's English, and he's English.
Was it English? Yes, it was. Mm-hmm. I saw like half that show and before I stopped, and I don't even remember that it was something. Anyway, but I can't tell if he's meant to be over the top. Like, just he seems more sort of, oh wow, crazy! I'm here. I'm going to help you. I'm so in love with you. I'm here to help you, and I don't know if that's meant to be part of his character or if he's just overacting a little bit. But he's rubbing me the wrong way in terms of realistic acting. But that's like a small point in a overarching, like it's such a great show.
Tough act to follow if you stood next to all
Catherine
the scenes with Catherine Hahn, and you've also got Pamela Pone in there as well.
Oh my god, yeah.
And what's her face from SNL? She's great. She looks great in this. It's great casting.
I didn't even know it was her at first.
Yeah.
I
don't know anyone's names from that sort of stuff. I don't know Wu. I don't know the other character, the Blood Witch. Never seen her before, so we'll see.
No.
But yeah, so yeah, if he's just probably a bit immature acting, English TV acting, and then when you put it next to that, it's like, okay, calm down. But also,
now that you mentioned
he's supposed to be
I'll be listening to his accent really closely.
Well, that's when I was like, is it going to slip? Is it fake? Is he pretending to be one thing to kind of hide it? But then I'm like, calm down.
Because obviously, if he's Mephisto, then he must be British, because all evil characters are British.
Or if he's Eastern European, because his mother's Eastern European.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I'm making shit up now. Anything can happen. But yes, all evil people must be British, especially the devil. Yes. The devil can't be enough.
The devil is British.
The devil is British. Thank you very much. Why do you think we colonized everything? Thank you. Not the Americans. Mm-hmm. Shan't do that. Any concerns / hopes for this show? Like, is there anything you're like, oh god, I really hope they don't do this, or I really hope they don't fuck this up, or that sort of stuff? Which is sad that we've come to that point, but with Marvel,
I think I mean, the fact that we don't know what's happening in the greater MCU. Even it's
that's
like
true.
we're kind of forced to not have very much expectation, so it's really hard to say anything like, oh, I hope it goes this way, or hope it doesn't hope they don't do this, because everything's up in the air now, because of the strike, because of what's his face, Kang actor, like because of the whole multiverse stuff. It's all up in the air, and they had to change everything, and so we're just waiting for the pieces to fall. And in the meantime, I'm happy with being entertained by the show.
Yeah, my main thing is I hope they don't either drag it out, drag it on, or do like an unsatisfying ending because they want to be like, oh, and in the movies or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Where I just want them to have planned a story.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's going to happen. And each episode is moving the story along. We get character, that sort of stuff. 9 episodes, boom, 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 satisfying conclusion. If it carries on or there's some teasers, cool, but that's up to the next person. I really don't want them to, which is also an expectation of me, to just, everything you watch, you're expecting it to be a precursor to the next one. I really just want it to be a nice self-contained story.
Yeah. Do you think that The Witch's Road, do you think The Witch's Road is going to take them all season to do? Or do you think it's going to be... Yeah, well, I mean, like, for the very few trailers that I've seen, I can't tell where they are. So they're clearly not sort of in any part of the real world.
No.
They could just be like in a sort of alternate sort of dimension reality, whatever.
That's kind of what I assumed it would be. Like, to journey the road, you have to go through, like, I don't know, challenges or tests and that sort of stuff. So it may be, I've seen them in like a hippie band or something like that. They may be like in different realities or time periods, but it's probably like a test or a challenge or something along the road. That's what I'm assuming, because it has to be, if it's like the comics, the road is like a series of sacrifices and not everyone makes it, and those who do get power and those who don't lose theirs and that sort of stuff. And it's kind of a way of keeping witches in check and that sort of stuff, or buying for power, but they don't know it. Kind of like a multi-level, like a pyramid scheme for supernatural power or something like that. So like, obviously not everyone can win.
Yeah, but you don't have to do it to get powers. Like witches that don't do it.
But it is a cheat. That's the point. And one of the characters, Deep X-Men cut, Nightcrawler's magical girlfriend, who was raised as his sister, their mother is a witch on the Winding Way, and her daughter wasn't, because it's a shortcut, or it gets you more power. Because if you get there, you get the power, but it also has sacrifices. Like if you're not at the top, or if you have to go through ebbs and flows, there are times when you have no power. Whereas other characters like Amanda Sefton, she didn't do that. She learned, she studied, and she got her own power, that sort of stuff. So it's not a quick fix, and it's not as much, or blah, 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 that sort of stuff. And I like that. I like that kind of thing about witchcraft is, you know, there's rules and there's sacrifice and that sort of stuff. And that's quite... Yeah. That's lore and mythology in its own right. So I hope they do it justice with that and not just like wiggly woos. Like Wanda is a cheat in the comics. It's like, you shouldn't have magical power. It is a cheat that she was originally a mutant who can access mutant. Anyway. Yep. Whereas the others studied and sacrificed and learned. And then she comes along and is like, poof. So I like that. I hope that comes into it. I
think they're already kind of doing it in the MCU, because they've got they've got Commartage, which is meant to be like a school to train what they call sorcerers, but in the D&D world they call that wizardry. And then sorcerers have it innate. Yes. And then they've got Wanda whose powers, wherever they come from, you know, they were manifested by the Mind Stone, or they were unlocked because of the Mind Stone. And it has been implied that she has had sort of like probability manipulating power since a child, which I thought was great. So that leaves that door open. Yeah, they kind of do that, but I don't know anybody else who kind of gets that shortcut, because all the magic in the MCU is all you study, like Doctor Strange did, and all those people over there.
So I hope
chaos
there
magic
is
like Wanda.
Yeah, so I hope they kind of not delve into it, but keep that kind of rules and lore. Go.
Loki and his adopted mother.
She's a witch.
She called herself a witch. Yeah. So maybe that was, I don't know actually, but they're Asgardians, so that's all different.
Yes, but there's witches in Asgard, aren't there? So like there's gods who weren't immortal if they didn't eat the golden apple from some person. They're just like people with blonde hair.
Regular Asgardians.
And Thor had a belt which made him strong, if you read the things, apparently. Anyway, we're getting off track here. Okay. Agatha All Along the Witch's Road. I think this is going to be fun. Let's not have too much expectation.
I think that's the key. I agree.
That's the key to all of it. Just please do some nice writing. They do have to make good shows. Like Low Expectations couldn't save Secret Invasion, could it? So
no. Oh my god! If that was not, we're not talking about that show. Okay.
No, I can't do it again.
That was just bad writing.
Yes.
Bad story plot. Bad world building.
Yeah.
Over editing. Yeah. I'm going to miss the next 2 episodes. So I'll be in America.
Well, they have it in America too.
I know, but I can't. I'm not allowed to. I just watch it with my partner.
Just watch it at the same time. You could do like a viewing party. Just say what.
Good idea.
Yeah.
What was your favorite moment in the first 2 episodes?
I don't know. Patti LuPone. Just Patti LuPone being Patti LuPone.
Yeah, she's very good. Mine is the car bit when she was like, this isn't a car.
This isn't a car.
This isn't a car. That's okay.
Yeah. It's interesting because she's such a good comedic actor. You're waiting for her to be zany all the time, but I think she does like really intense drama really well.
She's honing that in a really good way. Yeah. She's driving that in a good way.
Yeah. It's great to have a great actor that is all being built around. It's all built around Catherine Hahn. Like, yes, this character, yes, this story, but it's Catherine Hahn more than anything. Like, it's not Agatha, it's Catherine. So that's cool.
And good for her. Who would have thought that she'd be headlining a Marvel TV show?
Yeah. After all these years.
It's good. After all these years. Okay, dear listener, if you have a moment of the show, what was your favorite part? Did we not mention it? What did you like? What was there something that you missed? What did she say? What is Tedejo or Tevejo? What is that? Please email us.
Danny Trejo? Who knows what it is?
Get in touch by email at incompletegeekspodcast@gmail.com.
Or send us a video of yourself explaining it on Instagram or TikTok. Our handles are at incompletegeeks. We want to while you're here, give this episode 5 stars review. It does help us out. Thank you.
Tell your friends about it. We like doing this. We hope you like listening to it. We talk about it all the time, and sometimes we miss things. We don't get everything right because it's not like we're complete geeks.
But we are working on it.
That's right, we are. Thank you for listening.
Bye-bye.
That's ridiculous.